Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Web Solution Master. If you've been working with Next.js, you've probably built some static pages. But what happens when you need to create pages for hundreds of blog posts, products, or user profiles? Building each one by hand is just not an option. That's where dynamic routes come in. And today, we're going to master them together. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create flexible, powerful, and SEO-friendly web applications with ease. So grab your coffee, open up your code editor, and let's get started. First things first, what exactly are dynamic routes in Next.js? Think about a typical blog. You have a list of posts, and when you click on one, you're taken to a unique page for that specific post, like /posts/my-first-post. My first post part is the dynamic segment. Changes for every single blog post. Dynamic routes allow us to create a single template that can generate an infinite number of pages based on a parameter like an ID, a slug, or a username. This is the magic that powers everything from e-commerce product pages to social media profiles. It makes your application scalable and incredibly efficient. Instead of a messy folder with hundreds of files, you have one clean, reusable template. So, how do we actually create one? It's surprisingly simple. In your Next.js project, inside the app directory, let's say you want to create dynamic routes for blog posts. You would create a folder named Posts. Inside that Posts folder, instead of a file like First Post, DJs, you create another folder named ID. The square brackets are key here, until next. JS that this part of the URL is a dynamic parameter. Inside that ID folder, you create your page. JS file. This file will be the template for all your individual post pages. It's that easy. Any URL like posts1, posts hello world, or posts anything else will now be handled by this single page. JS file. The value in the URL, whether it's one or hello world, will be passed as a parameter to your page component, which you can then use to fetch and display the correct data. Now that we have our dynamic route file set up, how do we tell Next.js which specific pages to pre-render at build time? This is especially important for static site generation, or SSG, which gives us incredible performance. The answer is a function called getStaticPaths. This function is your way of providing Next.js with a list of all the possible values for your dynamic parameter, in our case, the post ID. You'll export this asynchronous function from your dynamic page.js file. Side getStaticPaths, you'll typically fetch all your post data maybe from a database or a headless CMS. Then, you'll map over this data to return an array of objects. Each object will have a key that matches your dynamic segment, so in our case, it would be ID, and the value will be the actual ID of the post as a string. For example, if you have 3 posts with IDs, 1, 2, and 3, getStaticPaths will return an array like ID 1, ID 2, ID 3. Next.js will then use this list to pre-render posts 1, posts 2, and posts 3 as static HTML pages during the build process. This means your users get lightning-fast page loads. Let's talk about something crucial for your site's success: search engine optimization, or SEO. Using URLs like posts 123 works, but it's not great for users or search engines. Nobody knows what post 123 is about. A much better approach is to use semantic URLs, also known as slugs. A semantic URL would look like /post/mastering-next.js-dynamic routes. It's descriptive, easy to read, and it gives search engines like Google valuable context about your page content, which can help your rankings. To implement this, you simply change your dynamic folder name. Instead of ID, you'd name it slug. Then, in your getStaticPaths function, you'd return the post slug instead of its ID. Your page component will receive this slug as a parameter, and you can use it to fetch the corresponding post data. It's a small change in your code, but it makes a massive difference in user experience and SEO performance. Always aim for clear, descriptive URLs. Your users and your search ranking will thank you for it. Alright, we've covered the fundamentals. Now, let's dive into some advanced routing techniques that will really level up your Next.js applications. First up, parallel routes. Imagine you have a dashboard with a main content area and a sidebar. Both of these sections might need to be interactive and have their own navigation state. With parallel routes, you can render multiple independent pages within the same layout. You create them using a special convention called slots. You define a slot by creating a folder prefixed with the @ symbol, like at sidebar or at analytics. Then, within your main layout, you can render these slots as props. This is incredibly powerful for complex UIs like dashboards, where different parts of the page need to be controlled separately without causing a full page refresh. Next, let's talk about intercepting routes. This is one of my favorite features in the app router. Have you ever been on a site where you click an image in a gallery and it opens in a modal, but if you refresh the page, you're taken to a dedicated page for that image? That's intercepting routes in action. It allows you to intercept a route and show a different UI, still preserving the intended URL. For example, when a user clicks a link to photo 123, you can intercept that navigation and display a modal overlay on the current page. This prevents a full page reload and keeps the user in their context. It's perfect for photo galleries, quick edit forms, or previewing content without leaving the main view. You implement this using a special syntax in your folder structure, like to match segments, one level up, or ... closing parenthesis to match segments in the same level. It's a game changer for creating fluid, app-like experiences on the web. As your application grows, you might find your app directory getting a bit cluttered. You might have folders for your marketing pages, your blog, and your user dashboard all at the same top level. This can hurt maintainability. This is where root groups come to the rescue. A root group is a way to organize your files and folders without affecting the URL structure. Simply create a folder and wrap its name in parentheses. For example, marketing. Inside this folder, you can place all your marketing-related routes like about and contact. The parentheses tell Next. JS2, ignore this folder when constructing the URL. So a page at marketing about page. JS will still be accessible at about. This is purely for organization. You can create groups for different sections of your app, like auth, shop, or dashboard. Make your project tidy and make it much easier for you and your team to navigate the codebase. It's a simple but incredibly effective pattern for maintaining large-scale Next.js projects. So let's recap what we've learned today. We started with the core concept of dynamic routes, using bracket syntax like ID to create flexible page templates. We saw how to use getStaticPaths to pre-render these pages at build time for optimal performance. We then elevated our URLs for better SEO by switching from generic IDs to descriptive slugs. From there, we explored advanced patterns like parallel routes for building complex dashboard layouts and intercepting routes for creating seamless modal experiences. Finally, we learned how to keep our projects organized and maintainable with root groups. These features are the building blocks of modern, scalable web applications. Mastering them will unlock a new level of power and flexibility in your Next.js development workflow. I hope this guide has demystified dynamic routing in Next.js for you. Practice is key, so I encourage you to open up a project and try implementing these patterns yourself. Build a blog, a product catalog, or anything that requires dynamic pages. If you have any questions or want to share what you've built, drop a comment down below. I love seeing what you all create. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more web development tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy coding.